So Arnold Slot has been sacked by Liverpool, and this comes as a shock, more because of the timing of this than anything else, I think. We've known all season, with how the season's gone for Liverpool, that it was a possibility that at some point in the season, or more likely at the end of the season, that he could be gone. But they could decide enough's enough. But I think the timing's a bit strange, because, well, why have they waited a week? Why now? Why have they waited a week after the season's finished? And why have they done it also the day of the Champions League finals? It feels a bit convenient as well, especially seeing as one of the managers has been linked as a replacement is Luis Enrique. However, it does look like Irolia is strong front runner, the main candidate for the job, and it does look like that's who it's going to be. But like I said, not confirmed yet, so there's something interesting about that, though. The fact that, you know, they have done it the same day as the Champions League final is very much, I mean, some people will say maybe because, I've heard that maybe that's because almost they know they've handled this badly, so to almost keep it out of the spotlight. But then there's also the fact that, like I said, Enrique has been linked with this job in the past, and there's no obvious, if he is going to leave PSG, it's the only place I could really see him going. Now the City job's taken, the Madrid jobs, it was never going to be an option for him because of his Barcelona links, but that's gone. Barcelona look like, you know, Hansi Flick's still going to be there. None of the Italian jobs are quite what they have quite the appeal they once did, but you know, still some obviously big clubs still could be an option. But realistically, if he was going to leave PSG and he was going to move on, I mean, there's national team jobs where it could only be Liverpool, I think, realistically, at the moment. You know, Chelsea job taken, City job taken, all of that. So, and of course the United job as well, Carrick. Yeah, buying. I mean, Vincent Kompany's probably not going to go, and well, him going in there would be huge. I don't think it's going to happen. I do think it's going to be Areola, but I did want to mention that because it does feel something. It probably is all just circumstantial, but it does feel, like I said, like, you know, Enrique, he has obviously won the Champions League now back to back with PSG as of last night. So, you know, how much more could he achieve there? Could it be a case he feels he's done all he can do with the team? A treble, won the league every season he's been there, now won the Champions League back to back. But the way they were celebrating last night, that doesn't look like a team that's going to be losing the manager anytime soon. That looks like a team that want to go for it and do it a third time round and have the same hunger going into next season. So I think that's kind of, that little theory has sort of been debunked a bit there, but still thought it was worth mentioning. But in terms of the managers that are right up there, outside of Areola, there's a few others that have been mentioned. Pep Linders, who's obviously works as Klopp's assistant, is right up there. Also Sebastian Hoeneß and Oliver Glasner as well. So you can see the sort of type of manager that they're going for there. In the sort of style they want to go for. Now, what I said a minute ago about the timing of this is strange. Now, Liverpool, the manager I always imagine going there is the manager we've just brought in, Xabi Alonso. Now, Xabi Alonso is obviously a legend at Liverpool, someone with such a big history at the club, and someone that once the rumours about Klopp being sacked started, because he had just been sacked at Madrid, that was one of the jobs that, that was the manager that was spoken about the most, saying, yeah, if they do get rid of Slot, it's got to be Xabi Alonso for the Liverpool job. And well, they've missed the opportunity to get him now. That's interesting. And a lot of their fans, I think, would have wanted Xabi Alonso, and I think a lot of them will be really frustrated with the way they've handled this. They've not been, it's got to be said, they've not been well managed, Liverpool, over the last couple of seasons. They do seem to have got a lot of decisions wrong, and I think if you speak to their supporters, they'll tell you that they're not happy with the way the club's been run probably since Klopp's left, to be fair. And of course, there's a lot of different opinions on this. A lot of people are really sort of strongly against this sacking, saying he deserves another year, and they've made a massive mistake here and they've treated him really unfairly. But then equally, there's people that are really strong, just as strong on the other side of this, and saying, well, no, the results weren't good enough, and the performances just haven't been good enough, and he had to go, pretty much. But and I think, you know, there's strong arguments either way. It's a really hard one to tell because he's had 2 seasons. His first season, they've absolutely blitzed the league title, and ended winning the league, like improving on Klopp's third place finish the previous season, and what was supposed to be a transitional year, what was supposed to be a year they fallen away, Klopp leaving the club, but they absolutely walked the league. And then once they won the league with multiple games to spare, going into this season, spent so much money, record-breaking transfer window. It's a case of, well, they can only improve. They have to go win the league again. Sure, they were everyone's favourites going into this season to win the league. Didn't get off to the best of starts, but they just never got going. It just didn't happen for them. And I think if you look at the performances across the whole season in all the competitions, 18 defeats. They've broken they've got unwanted records they set here, Liverpool, and it's not just the way they went out of competitions as well. Not just the fact that they fallen short. They were absolutely annihilated in the Champions League, 4-0 on aggregate by PSG. Same in the FA Cup when they lost in the quarter-finals to Man City. Same in the League Cup, they lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace. They were just absolutely annihilated in all of them. And even when the league form sort of improved a bit and it looked like it was going to recover enough, because they had a really bad run before Christmas, when they looked like they was going to recover enough to secure top four, which they obviously did in the end, secure the Champions League spot. Even then, when the there's never in the title race, so when the chances to win another trophy come along, like I said, they were terrible. Like the Champions League, the FA Cup, and they lost more Champions League games than they've ever lost to Liverpool in a single season. Obviously, it's an extended format now, but it's not going to help them, and their performances were particularly bad against PSG, and there's some group, the league phase ones that were really, really bad as well. So I think, to be honest, that's what I think's got him the sacking. Not the way he finished the season, because they finished quite strong in the Premier League and they secured the top 5 place quite well in the end. And I think the performance did improve in the final weeks of the season. And it's obviously a big summer for them. There's going to be a lot of comings and goings and all sorts happening. And in some ways it feels harsh. In some ways it does feel like, yes, Slot maybe deserved another year. Bear in mind, he wins in the league in his first season after Klopp leaves. And this was a bad season and he still managed to get him in the Champions League. Okay, they didn't win anything and there was some bad performances, but with a better handled transfer window and a better recruitment over the summer, does he deserve another year? Because a lot of their signings just haven't worked. Ekitike has been very good. Other than that, a lot of the signings just haven't got going yet. Wirtz, I think, will get going. There's been a lot of signs that he will. I think he will be a good player. Isak's had that nightmare injury. We've had Kirkes is a player that's going to have to step up next season. Now Robertson's gone, and Salah leaving on a free as well. They've messed up here really. I thought they'd get another year out of him. This is another example that I've had a club's been badly managed because he's got another year out of him, which they wanted to keep him, rightly so in some ways, but some will say because it was so good last season, so why would they not want to keep him? But they signed him on a year's deal and now he's leaving for nothing, and he's not had a good season this season. It's time to move on. But again, that's on them. The fact he's leaving for nothing is because of their how they went about it. And you think as well, losing Robson, and it's the end of an era for Liverpool as well. They're losing a lot of their main players from the Klopp era, and it looks like a lot of them are being linked with moves away now. Even Alisson, who's had that really bad run of injuries, will he stay? Will he go? Because he's a massive run of injuries. They've had a lot, so they've had some bad luck in that sense. But what's cost Arnold Slot is the 18 defeats across all competitions, and when you see it, when you put it that way, it makes more sense. Still though, I think I probably would have gone and given him another year, but it's a big call as well, particularly as they've left it a week before the season's over. It almost sort of, maybe he'll probably feel quite hard done by as well. Does it look like maybe they've almost, it's almost like they convinced everyone that he's going to be given another year, because it was always thought, we always thought at the end of the season it could happen, but it looked like it wasn't going to. Everything was pointing to it not happening, and it just sort of come out of the blue yesterday. Very weird, very random kind of time to do it. But yeah, and I think if they had timed it differently, obviously they could have brought in Xabi Alonso, who a lot of people would have wanted for this job. But then again, Irolia, does his style of play suit Liverpool better? So, Xabi Alonso usually plays with a back three. Can't really see Liverpool doing that. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's who they had lined up the whole way along. But they obviously knew Liverpool. I highly doubt they've made this decision over the last week. The board must have known they was going to do this for at least a while now. So the timing's a bit strange, but it's looking like it's going to be Irolia. Not certain though. There's still a few there could still be a bit of a twist there, but it is looking like Irolia. Fantastic job at Bournemouth. Can't argue with the job he's done at Bournemouth, but it says there's a massive step up. But I think he's such a good manager, and I think they have got themselves a top-class manager there. But yeah, it's big sum for them. There's going to be a lot of players who need to sort of come and go, and a lot of signings that I think they're going to need to bring in certain positions, because it just didn't happen last season. It wasn't good enough, and you know, once they started to, you know, it was a team that was assembled by, I'm not taking anything away from Arnold Slot's first season at Liverpool, but his team then was very much a team that I thought was built by Klopp. There was a lot of, it was very much still a Klopp team from the previous year. That was a set kind of, if you look at their best players across last season, you think Mo Salah, Trent, you know, and Trent, that's another one, only 10 million at least for as well. So this is like another example of how they've messed up over recent years. But once they sort of tried to build Slot's own team this season and spent all that money, it's not happened for him. And by the way, I'm not saying that Slot didn't do a good job in his first season. He did an absolutely unbelievable job winning the league, improving on Klopp's season the previous year in what was supposed to be a year where they dropped off. That's why I think he deserved another year. But because it was so impressive and so much better than the rest of the league last year. But well, it's a massive, and like I say, it's just a massive fall from grace, really. No one would have thought at the start of the season Slot would be getting sacked, but this does happen in football. But he's looking like Irolia. So if it is Irolia, what does everyone think about that? Have they made the right move there? And also, even more so, was Slot unfairly treated? Should he? Have they got it wrong here? Should he not have been sacked? What do you think? I'd be very interested to find out. So please do let me know. Thank you for watching, and look out for my reaction to the Champions League final, because that's coming up very soon.